Hello Internet! So I've picked up Heroes of the Bitter Harvest Lock and Load Tactical from Lock and Load Publishing. This box is an absolute monster. This is over 3 kilos of tactical gaming fun, with featuring the Russians and the Germans on the road to Stalingrad. There's absolutely loads in here, so we're going to have a little look through now. I'm not going to look at too much detail because there's just so much to get through. I'll show you why there's so much in the box and how this can be a system that you play for a long time. So let's get her open. So it's a big 3-inch box, and very snugly fit. Let's get that lid open. So first book, you get all the books in here are spiral bound. So this is the companion book for the system, and here's the rule book. So this rule book covers all Lock and Load tactical games. Everything from their World War II stuff, their Vietnam stuff, their modern Afghanistan stuff, Falklands War, everything in there, all the rules are in here. You know, you've got everything from just troops to helicopters to weapons teams, how scenarios run, everything you need to play the game. Additional to that, you've also got the companion book. So this contains all the module specific rules for Heroes of the Bitter Harvest. It also contains this role-playing game system. I haven't looked at this in detail yet, but generally you set up your own specific leader and you run through a series of scenarios, gaining skills as you go, going from scenario to scenario, improving as you go. So like, this could be a good campaign system for a single player. Also included is the solo assistant. So these are all the rules for playing a game against an automated opponent. What else have we got now? Also, we've got the battle assistant here. So, battle assistant. This is was called the battle generator previously. So this is like the do-it-yourself version for making your own scenarios. How to pick your forces, how to pick your maps, how to make fair victory conditions. Yeah. And here we've got the scenarios for the Here's the Bitter Harvest. All those pages and pages and pages of scenarios. I'll have to look at them in more detail later. I know, but they do have slightly different setups as well for each scenario for solo play versus multiplayer. So I have to give that a bit of a closer look. And here we've got a couple of pages here of just charts and tables and flow charts for the solo system. There's there, you've got the role-playing tables, points values for the forces, for the do-it-yourself stuff, skill references. So this is the main rules for the Lock and Load tactical system, and this is everything specific for this box set. So you've got a couple of nice chunky dice there. Got some red ones for the Russians, some grey ones for the Germans. Ooh. This little 3D hill to place on one of the maps to give a bit of pop to your game. I've got the first stack of cards here, so these are the data cards. So they go through all the different units of what they look like on either side, any special rules they'll have, any details they got to hit ordnance to hit things for your tanks and your weapons. So instead of constantly flipping over counters to see what's on the back, you can just lay out these cards for all the forces you're using in that game and just have all that info straight to hand. So yeah, there's a big old stack of them there. Here we've got the solo assistant deck. We've got about 100 cards, tarot-sized cards, and you draw these, and these will give you the orders that the automated opponent uses, how you should react in different situations. And I don't know the solar system inside out yet. This is the first time I'm looking at it, so I don't know how this plays, but this is the driving force behind the solo opponent. And here's the first stack of maps. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 maps. You've got a nice mix of terrain here. They're all one-sided, geomorphic, so you can combine them together. You've got some good urban environments, you've got some good rural environments. There's some forests. What have we got here? Is this the one that goes with it? So yeah, here's map 83, which lines up with the three-dimensional hill, so you can put that overlay on there to give it a little bit more pop when you're playing. I think that's a really nice little touch. So yeah, with the geomorphic nature in 7 maps, you can combine them in all sorts of ways. There's going to be lots of different terrain you can explore there. On top of that, you've got stacks and stacks and stacks of play assistance. So you've got the turn phase sequence of play. That's where you keep your casualties. It shows you all about the step reductions for your forces. That'll always be next to you when you're playing. You've got your terrain effects, your skill references, more terrain, combat tables, different weapons and ammo types, your melee tables, more reference tables, the points cost tables for your do-it-yourself things, outline of play. It just never ends. And you've got all these different charts, for the flow charts for how to use the solo assistant, depending on which opponent they're being and what the current situation is. So with this many flowcharts, I think it's going to be quite a detailed solo system. So I'm really interested to see how well it plays and how realistic it is as an opponent. But again, yeah, just stacks and stacks and stacks of references, so you're not always going to be constantly flipping through either of those books. I'll look at these in a second. I've just spotted what we've got here. So here we've got the 4K X maps. Again, all 7 maps, just in the larger hex size. Let's try and get them, see if I can find the matching one here. So yeah, here's the X map 77 with the woods and the road through it, and here's its smaller counterpart. So if I'm limited for space, I can bring out the little maps, but if I'm playing a big scenario with lots of counters, I can get the big maps out. You've got larger hexes, so more space to move around, but it's the same actual terrain, just in that bigger, easier to see format. It's really good that they include that, because in previous modules this used to be a separate purchase. And lastly, you've got the counters here, and even in the bag some of them are already popping out. Squeeze them back in a little bit. Try and do this a bit gently so I don't lose too many, because the lock and load publishing counters are just so well die cut. They are just dying to jump out. Here they are. So here's a sheet full of informational counters. Yep, they're just so eager to pop out. But what I do like about these counters is, as you can see, they're all pre-rounded corners. So when they pop out so easily, look, you're not going to spend hours and hours and hours with your counter clippers trying to work through everything in there. Oh, it's losing no end. Let's just give up on that for now. So how many sheets have we got? So you've got 6 counter sheets. So you've got hundreds and hundreds of counters here. You've got a bunch of Soviet forces. You've got some of the vehicles, some of the weapon teams. Like you see, I'll just even stroke that sheet and they just pop out. But with all this game, we've got these 6 sheets worth of counters, 7 maps, all these plays, the solo system, the RPG system, the complete rules, all the additional data cards to make gameplay easier. There's just so much game in here. And with the solo system and the battle generator, you can just be playing this forever. So first glance, this looks like a really, really good purchase. I had so much fun with the starter kit. I'm looking forward to getting into this and going more in depth with the system. I will have a closer look at some of these components at a later date, but this is just a little overview of the massive amounts of stuff you get in this box. I mean, it's full to the brim. So yeah, I hope if you've got any questions about what comes with this, by the time I've posted this, I've probably opened everything up and had a much better look. So drop a comment and I'll let you know my thoughts on it. And I'll definitely be coming back later on to look at these counters closer, because I mean there's just so many to go through. I'm still got to decide how I'm going to organise these, because I don't think they're ever going to fit back in the box. Yeah, so until next time, happy gaming!